It was so bad. And I wasn't around, but I would get shown this video like, oh my God, look what happened on Days of the Stars. And it was awful. I'm Sharna Burgess, and these are Dancing with the Stars secrets. Oh, when I kicked out Noah Galloway's tooth, hands down. Either that or my absolute nip slip with Antonio Brown, where Tom Bergeron had to turn around and tell me that I needed to pull my dress up. James Hinchcliffe, who would sit in a car like this and then somehow had the most beautiful frame, even from day one. I was like, what? I texted our casting director, Dina, and was like, okay, he's a dark horse. Like, this is unbelievable. Then we got to salsa and cha-cha. It was less good, much less good. But he was amazing at the stuff in hold and in frame. And I was like, okay, let's go. In the beginning, Antonio Brown, he wouldn't show up for it.
No.
Well, he'd show up just like super late and be like, whatever. But then it was odd after Switch Up Week when he did really bad and I did really well. He was, Then he was like, okay, fine, I'll try. I think he got his ego bruised. And then he was a model student. Then he was amazing because he's a beast at the way he trains for what he does.
Sure.
But yeah, once he cared, he was phenomenal. But yeah, in the beginning, he was absent, I would say. Ooh, I mean, Jordan Fisher probably. Normani was also incredible. Like, these are people that have had dance training,
right?
Which like Laurie was fantastic. I mean, it's hard to compete with that because they had dance training. Honestly, of people that didn't have any dance training whatsoever, I would say James Hinchcliffe. If you're talking about people that have never had a dance lesson, James Hinchcliffe for sure for me was one of the absolute standouts of the seasons that I remember. Yeah. But you can't compete with people that have had dance training. Wasn't it Master P? It was so bad. And I wasn't around, but I would get shown this video like, oh my God, look what happened on Days of the Stars. And it was awful. Ooh, that is near impossible. Okay, honestly, it's probably going to be a Mark Ballas number, and it's probably going to be his Super Mario one that he did with Sadie Robertson. He did so many amazing ones. His Alice in Wonderland was dope, but he for me was one of the most creative people I've ever seen on the show, and I love it. Honestly, probably me. Like, if I'm going back to when we were doing on tour and we do our own hair and makeup, probably me. I put my headphones in and I mosey about and I just or I listen to a podcast. Sometimes I could take 2 hours. And then there's other times where I would take 40 minutes. But I think I'm the one that would, maybe even Emma sometimes when she wants to take her time. Otherwise, she's like lightning fast. I mean, it has to be Len because he's the stickler for technique, but then sometimes he isn't. And then sometimes he blows up and gets real mad about things and you're not entirely sure why. Whereas you kind of know generally what you're going to get from Kerry, and not as in scores and comments, but her energy, right? Her tone. And you know what you're going to get from Bruno with his tone. But every now and then Len will bust out and be super sweet and you're like, huh, I didn't see that coming. And then when you think it's going to be amazing, he's going to love it, he hates it. So it's like, that one is the one that keeps you on your toes the most, I would say.